Crewing. Oh, live stream. Yeah, what about you?
I have been in only one UPW in online.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, they're both pretty cool, online and in person. They both have their pros for sure. It's a different experience.
Yeah. How was the crewing for you?
It was awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love the opportunity to give back and help
Mm,
people and still be part of it as well.
right.
It's a really great experience. It's you still take in the material, but it's just from a different perspective. And I'm very grateful for both opportunities.
Cool.
Are you in Edmonton still, Hannah?
Yeah, I am. Family's
Nice.
here. I'm stuck.
No, you're not stuck, but it's nice. It's nice that you're here. It's nice that we should definitely hang out, go for coffee. It'd
We
be
should,
nice
yeah,
to catch up with
definitely.
you.
That's right. We should. It's been what,
Have you
like
met
10 years?
before?
Yeah. Yeah, we met before when I was still it was way before even my journey. I was very much uh discovering myself, learning about who I was, had no idea, but I knew there was something better. And
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing to come back at this level and connect with you again, you know, a different I'm definitely in a different place.
And it's amazing even for me to see because I remember those days and it's nice. I can see that you've done a lot of work on yourself and you should be really proud of yourself, honestly. It's what a beautiful journey. And I did too. I'm not in the same place either. So it's really, really nice to see kind of before all of this, where we were, where you are. And I've really seen that journey. I was, part of it for a little bit there. So really cool to see. Proud of you. I love it.
Likewise, yeah, it's all a mirror, you know, so it's amazing to observe and appreciate. Uh, are you living on the North End still?
I am. Yeah, I'm on my
Wow,
own condo here.
cool. Well, definitely gotta make sure we get together. It'll be nice to spend some time together and connect in person.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, like, are you on the north side?
Yep, in
Oh,
Bellerive.
okay. Yeah,
Yep,
nice. I'm in Claverton.
amazing. So good. Wow, it's like everything's coming back together. Alex,
Hey,
Welcome,
Alex.
hello.
how are you,
It's so good to
bro?
see you again. I just woke up. Um I feel like I have a jet lag. But I just came back from my trips and now yeah, just settling down. And I'm just coming down, giving my body the rest, going to the gym and yeah, this is my place right now.
I see that.
How was
Um,
how was the walk?
The walk was intense. It was super intense. Like, I mean, it was 10 days. I catch up with Hell. It was amazing. Like, this guy is so cool. He also joined UPW right now. I saw you did it online, Eric,
Yeah, yeah, I
right?
did. And Hannah was crewing.
Ah, okay,
Uh,
nice.
so definitely it was a lot of fun. And I actually shared into the community and into the UPW community about doing a book club because or sorry,
Yeah, actually,
it was
I
two
just,
things. So there's two things here. So it was like uh Tony talks about the talent code and Hannah is already doing a book club. So I was like, "Hey, what do you think about doing this in the book club?" And she's like, "Let's do it." Um and so I suggested it into the group and everyone is like, "I'm in. I just said I'm gonna read it," and everyone's like, "I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in." Like 100 people almost.
I saw your
So
post.
now we have to do it.
I ordered the book, Eric.
Ah, yes.
No,
So,
I'm
so
in.
now we have to do it. It's just like it's a must, you know? It's
Yes.
not even a should, it's a must. You know, we put our energy out there and it's easy. Everyone's like super inspired. Everyone's like, I'm ordering the book. Like seriously, Sagitta's like 100 people. Okay, maybe it's like 70, but it's a lot.
Crazy.
That's
Alex,
cool.
were you at UPW in person right now?
No, no, no. I was in Egypt right now. Just
Oh,
enjoying.
Egypt. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. No,
Nice.
no. But I'm looking forward to do that Destiny online. Really.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
planning to crew in person in 3 weeks. Eric, are
yeah.
you going there or online or anybody? You're doing online, Alex. Anybody
I do.
else doing Date with
I
Destiny?
want I want to do it online. I can't go to the US just yet. We're working on it right now. Because of my US travel situation when I was a badass. But I got one of the lions, so she's helping me making it happen. She was actually there. Hey, what's up?
What's
You two amazing
up?
people.
How are you guys?
We're just talking
Good.
about Date with Destiny.
Oh,
Are you both going?
we're going to business mastery first. Then we're gonna do everything.
Nice.
Like he says, take care of the business, then the business takes care of you.
Right.
When-
Alex, I'm curious about Sintra. Have you went to Sintra? You went, yes, but I'm curious, have you explored it?
Yes, I went there. Yes, yes, yes. Let me tell you, Eric, Hannah, we were in this meeting, and then Sigitas just told me, Alex, you have to go to Sintra. And he told me like, don't Google it, don't research it, just don't do anything, just go there and follow your heart. So I ordered an Uber, just put on the location Sintra, and then yeah, he just brought me there. I put my phone away, more or less, and then I just followed my heart. And Sigitas, it was a beautiful place, really.
Mm,
Uh, like it was so beautiful. There's a
yeah.
beautiful castle. The nature is just amazing. It's in Portugal, and it's just like a little bit different than the rest there. And I felt a really, really true connection to myself there, and like was very grounded afterwards because on this day I was very tired after the Camino, no, after the surfing. I did surf camp and just
Mm.
arrived there, and yeah, it was amazing. So thank you so much for sending me there. It was beautiful, really.
For trusting and following that curiosity and stepping in the unknown. Yeah, it's like I didn't want it to spoil anything about it to you. So
No, you did great. You did great. I was amazed afterwards. I told everybody, "Hey, you have to go there. You have to go to Sintra. You have to go."
well, secrets, telling secrets to everyone. Good.
Yes.
It's a special place, man. It's we really discovered a lot of magic there with Sagitas when we were there. It's unreal.
Really?
Yeah, we've
Oh,
been in
wow.
Sintra with Eric at some point.
Oh, that's so cool. Like I think this is one of the things that I've learned throughout my travel right now, that you only have to do the next step. So if the
Hmm.
universe is telling you, hey, go there, do this, just do it. Like
Yeah.
this is the only thing you can do. Just do the next step in full trust and surrender. Just go with it.
Hmm.
And I was doing this like every day and had a beautiful time. So I wouldn't change anything. And I think just because of this, I completely let go and just did the next thing in front of me.
Hmm. Cool.
And I did some priming and meditation, everything to keep my energy high. Um, but yeah, that's it. Like just do the next step, the next thing that's in front of you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is
This
this
is
is how I kind of leading myself now as well, like with a full-on curiosity and just finding the purpose in front of me. And there's so much, so much to do, so much to be. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
amazing,
What have you
amazing.
done in Egypt? Have you visited any like sacred sites and yeah.
I went to Santa Catarina. It's where the Moses uh, hill is. I didn't went up there because well, it was with my family this time. But it was amazing. I arrived there, just got out of the bus, and all of a sudden, like I had this deep, like my crown was open, like it just opened like this.
Mm.
Like, okay, what's going on there? But there was so much energy just channeling it through, and it was amazing. Yeah.
Me and Eric, we have a friend that went through a lot of sacred sites in Egypt
Yeah.
and explored the hidden places that is like you drive this like hours and hours in nowhere, and then it suddenly is like hundreds of temples carved inside the rocks with a lot of different kind of rooms. And he was like he's a lot in tune into frequencies, so he's like he could sense in every room is different kind of frequencies, so he would tune in into those. And yeah, Egypt sounds like it's a lot to explore there. It's very energetical place.
It is. It is. Oh, that's cool.
Mm. Hey Ronald, welcome. Welcome to the book club.
Not yet, but we
Wow.
gotta plan on figuring it out.
Well, I will be a member. I would love that.
Yeah. The talent
You
code.
did.
We're gonna do Tony's book. He talks about the talent code. So
Okay.
Hannah, what date? First of all, Hannah, do you want to share a little bit about your wisdom and all the magic that you're bringing to the world? Because you are an incredible person that's doing incredible things. Do you want to share a
Well,
little bit about yourself?
thank you, Eric. So as we were saying, Eric and I met about 10 years ago, before all of this, before I got into my journey in the Tony world as well. And then I, got into the Tony world about, let's say about 7 years ago now. And yesterday, Eric and I were in the same Zoom room, so that was really cool. I was crewing, and it's my fifth UPW, going to be my second date with Destiny. So it's really been a beautiful, transformative journey. Started my business about 8 years ago. I'm a dietitian and published a couple books now, and it's been really, really a beautiful journey helping people in my business. And it's beautiful now. I understand when Tony says challenges and problems are gifts, because just yesterday I was telling somebody, when I started off as a dietitian working at the hospital, I had so many challenges, so many problems that just hit rock bottom. And that's what pushed me to start my business. And I think these are gifts, honestly. Whatever gets in the way is an obstacle. We have to realize, kind of like yesterday, they were saying, any no is a new opportunity. And I really love that. That really resonates for me. I think that sums up my journey, guys.
It's amazing. And tell us about the book club that you're leading right now.
Yeah, so I'm actually leading this book. You mean you're welcome to join, but we're more than halfway through. That was the only the only thing. But it's been an amazing I actually posted it in the group as well. Oops, my camera tends to do that sometimes. Let's fix that. There we go. Yeah, I posted it in the Tony group, kind of like you, Eric. This morning I saw your post as well. Lots of interest. And I got tons of people interested. I started that a couple months ago, actually, and it's been going great. Don't mind redoing it if anybody wants after, but yeah, so I've a couple of years ago, I recognized that in order to really get more out of a book, you want to actually study it, because, people read all these self-help books and all that, but what's the point if we're not applying it? It's not knowledge is power, applied knowledge is power, right? We need that. We need the accountability. We got to take massive action, right? In order to see any result. So while these books have great information, I thought book clubs are great. So I started doing that a couple years ago on different self-help or personal growth topics. And it's been great so far. So yeah, I've been doing this one. And with regards to the new book, I personally won't be able to start right away, but if you want to start, Eric, right away, like there's so many people, and then I'll join in here and there. I'll get the book too.
Cool.
Probably for me once I'm done this book.
Cool, I love it. And is your book club in person or is it online as well?
No, online. Yeah, online. You know, the Tony community, and it's rare. Eric and I are in Edmonton, and on the north side is not usually the case. We're all over the world, right? So usually to reach the people in the Tony community, it's the best to post in a group. And this is the way to reach people. Yeah, so it's over Zoom. I've got people in all over the US just because of the time zone. It kind of stuck to people in the States. There were some people interested in Australia and whatnot, but it was too difficult to coordinate a time that worked for everybody. But no, it's been going great so far. It's a small group, which is nice because I think people then have the ability to share more. Depends on how you want to run it, Eric. It's different. Some book clubs are so many people and it's run differently, and some smaller people share more. With this one, what I've done is we're setting very specific goals, and each week we're sharing exactly what we got done, what are the next steps, what's the next goal, our main learnings from the book. And I found that that's been going really well. But again, I left it to a small group, but there was a lot of interest. So it just depends on how you want to run it, right? There's so many ways to do that.
Thank you. You're amazing. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for your wisdom. It's amazing. I really am excited to get to, like, I already started reading the Talent Code.
Amazing.
But this myelin is actually something that really resonates with me, how Tony talks about it, because it really is part of the light construct of being able to actually be extremely creative in the moment and make things happen as you go, and you become super comfortable by allowing that light to come through you. So this myelin that he discusses so beautifully in the book, but also the way that even Tony approached it. It's something it's actually in our nature, because the more that we expand to the light within our bodies, it just comes through us and we become this beautiful vessel. And the awareness of that is profound. To be aware of it at a cognitive way, to then accumulate it into our physical body, and then to really just shine fully. It's for me, it's inspiring to see that and feel it.
It's so beautiful. It's a deeper level of awareness, right? It's so beautiful. I love it.
I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, likewise. Amazing.
Hannah, how do you structure the book club? Like, do you read a chapter a week or 100 pages? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so it's a really big book, and so how I structured it was 2 chapters a week, which they are big chapters for this book at least. You know, each book is different. So we're doing 2 chapters a week, and then takeaways from each chapters, as well as actionable steps and goals for each chapter. With this book, there's a lot of questions within each chapter. So typically I'll just summarize some of the questions that we want to ask ourselves and dig deeper into. We've got the whole NAC process in the book. So we're getting people to go through and do that process with each of the questions and the steps. So going really deep into the book with 2 chapters a week. People have reported it's at times challenging, but they love it because it gets you to get the book done, right? It's the big books. It's good to have accountability for it. Do you have the book, Alex?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
It's a
he
great,
has drawn.
yeah, it's basically got like UPW condensed in the book, I think. A big part of it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice, nice. Well, amazing.
Yeah, I read the book and then we realized why Tony has certain processes in place, kind of like the Dickens, and because, talking about linking pain and pleasure to any action or situation in our life that creates certain beliefs, right? So the Dickens then is the next level. So it's like reading the book and then actually doing it to link that in your body. It's pretty cool to see why each of the processes are done a certain way based on the principles. So
Mm.
anyway, not to turn this to my book club. Surprise, it's the book club. Where are your books?
No, but it's nice because what you're doing is you're allowing to learn from your experience so that we can through it with the talent code give a lot more value as well, right? So I
Yeah.
definitely appreciate it, you know.
Yeah, good. I'm glad because my first book club, a couple of years ago now, honestly, I wasn't sure, I had to Google on how to really run a book club and how to do it. And yeah, I learned a lot. Yeah, that's basically it. I think having a structure can be helpful so that it's not all over the place. I kind of found with the participants. And then engaging with people on how they want to do things too, right? It's about everybody. So yeah, well, glad that was helpful.
Yeah, I think what I've discovered, at least in my own experience of life, is that if we're structured in ourselves, we can create structure really easily in any environment. And so what I've learned is that that level of confidence, it comes from our innate behavior to be able to see what's going on in the present moment, and then as a result, feeling what needs to happen. Because and this is actually super profound, at least for me, because then it really requires you to reflect back on how you choose to operate, and then you can bring that back into like a logical process, yes, but it doesn't need to come from the head, it comes from the beingness. And then as a
Yes.
result, from the beingness, you choose to actually reverse engineer, and then from that place you create a really sustainable or safe environment for everybody to thrive with you.
Could not agree more. Could not agree more. And I decided to that first book club to, immerse myself in it, and I recognized there was a lot of structure, and I learned how to create structure, how to set boundaries. I learned from that experience. You just have to sometimes be in it. They say just do it and then see how it goes, and then you can learn from it. And I learned a lot about myself. And that allowed me to improve, certain things when it comes to boundaries. Had people talking for an hour, not letting people speak whatsoever, for example, and things like that I had learned how to set that structure and boundaries. And it was a really good learning experience. You're absolutely right. That's really it.
Keith Cunningham in Business Mastery, which Gina and why do I forget? Why do I forget Gina's Jacob? I don't know why I forget. So Gina and Jacob, you're gonna learn that. Keith Cunningham, he talks about three fundamental components to growth at Business Mastery. And it's really fundamentally having the structure, creating the leverage by having an amount of different levels of intelligence around, and then fundamentally creating the optics, which is funny in a lot. Funnily, I don't know if that's the word. Funny enough, Ross and I were talking about that today, this morning, just about having that, because those three pieces of structure, leverage, and optics will actually create growth in any environment, because we're leaning on each other, right? So when we're able to lean on each other and support each other, in a structured environment, in a leveraged environment where people are utilizing each other's awareness, consciousness, intelligence, and then having the measurement to make it happen, which is what I definitely am learning on doing, thanks to Ross. It's giving a lot more growth and potential. And this is what I've noticed. My biggest thing over the course of UPW, and I was sharing this with Ross this morning, was really fundamentally breaking down the need to always be giving constantly, to also be willing to receive. And that is my opportunity now to be able to receive, which is why I'm really grateful for this community.
I love that. There's a book on that actually that I've read. It's upstairs. I forget the title, but it's actually on that, like how to also be able to receive. You know, it's beautiful. It comes with a workbook and all that. May or may not be obsessed with these kind of books, but that's beautiful. Isn't it the truth though? Sometimes we struggle to receive. Sometimes easier to just give. Yeah.
Definitely. Like what I learned is not receiving is actually not giving opportunity for somebody to gift or serve.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So receiving full on with all joy and gratitude, whatever it's kind of comes.
Mm.
Yeah.
What also is important is to forgive, because when you receive something you don't like, it's also receiving. But if you forgive it, you give it the meaning it deserves. Otherwise, it will destroy your own being in the choices you make after.
What do you have in mind when you say receiving something you don't like? What are you referring to?
Well, there are situations in life. Somebody says something you don't like, or you have an opinion on, a very strong opinion on, but you always have a choice how you react. And you can react from anger, and you can react from love. But to get from anger to love, you need to forgive first. Otherwise, you're in your head or somewhere else, but not in your heart. And that I find the most important lesson of this, not only to receive it, but also forgive it. And I have an example at the funeral of my dad. One of his sisters got very angry and got the whole room angry. And there I learned on the spot what forgiveness means. Because you can choose to get angry and get lost in the whole experience, or you choose to forgive this person and go on with it. And because there are strong emotions involved there, you're not able to choose when the emotion is very strong. But I had to play the guitar after the speech she made. So I choose to forgive her on the spot. And because I chose that, I was able to experience the whole ceremony from my heart. Otherwise, it would be from an angry state, Tony would say. So my state, I didn't let her change my state. That's what happens when you receive. But when it's negative, you can also change your state by forgiving. And it was a strong lesson I learned there in a high pressure situation. Because in a low pressure situation, it's always easy. It's not difficult to do it. And afterwards, I'm coping with the situation, but there are still family members who are angry about that situation and still didn't process it. So that's how I learned that forgiveness is the most strong gift you can give yourself.
I really can appreciate this perspective of forgiveness because I know that, at least for myself, there's intensity that I choose to show up in at moments. And that choice is so conscious in that moment. And it allows that precision of dialogue to happen with such a response that can be perceived as a reaction by others. And but however, for me, can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it's better now.
Oh, is it better now?
Yeah.
So even with that
Now it's worse.
really?
This is better.
Okay, it's better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So my perspective is that there's moments where I need to be intense, and people will, in some people, most people will have the perception that I am being reactive. However, it's an acute and distinct response to get a pattern broken. And I know that I trigger that person in that moment. However, the response for me is, I know that I'm here to help them forgive themselves. And so I have to forgive myself with that intensity, because in the past, people would say it's too intense. But I get to now choose consciously, because I'm more aware of it, how I want to operate with that level of language and precision, with the energy, with the tone, with the physiology. And so this has been a conscious effort for me to continuously go inside myself and to do the work within myself, so that as a result, I actually have so much compassion to all of the experience within myself. And it's driven me so deep inside into such a form of solitude that literally took me to all places around the world, to be able to literally listen to how I choose to express myself in moments that need those boundaries that even Hannah was mentioning earlier. And that, to me, is a precision of listening. Because then you really forget, at least, again, sorry, thanks Sagitas, I'm feeling you right now as I say you.
You know, when I hear you,
know.
I check out. I'm pretty much out of the room.
then I realize that the more that I'm really listening, the more I can trust my feeling.
It sounds like you completely in alignment to how your body is observing the whatever is going on in the environment when you say listening. So I assume it's not only sounds, it's the whole field of information. That's beautiful. Yeah.
And I'm getting used to saying I instead of you. So thank you for being here, brother.
Well, I've been watching it as well, some previews, but I have not showed up. So it's been mentioned. You have been mentioned a few times. But do you see the difference? Do you see the difference in the way of expression? Because it's yeah, I'm curious.
Way more ownership,
way more distinction, way more value added to the choice is I make, and the distinction and the value that I choose to bring to the table. And so that's something that I'm recognizing more and more, because I choose to operate now versus saying or giving away the power. I choose to recognize that it's in me.
Yeah.
It's it's who I am.
Then in that case, we can speak from experience.
Correct.
It's kind of more related to the like, yeah, it's it's more to the truth. It sounds to me, at least. When I like, and it's not that I check out, like, but then I like, I'm really sensitive to that, and as soon as I hear someone sharing personal story and using you where supposed to be I kind of get confused, No, I have not been in that situation. And then somebody says you. So for me, it's a very huge distinction between I and you. It became. So yeah, it's cool. Love it.
It's almost like giving away your power.
And talking about, assuming that everybody has the same experience. When you climb the mountain, and then when you have this hook. No, I don't know. I have not been on the mountain. What are you talking about? It's difficult to relate somehow. It's cool. I'm happy you're
What do
paying
you mean?
attention.
What do you mean by giving away power, Eric?
You don't own the value that you have walked. So the experience, it's not like I'm choosing to express the experience that I've been through. And as Tony says, a belief is a poor substitute for an experience. When I'm saying you, I'm passing on a belief. When I'm saying I'm cultivating an experience, because then that person that's listening is also appreciating the I inside. So whenever we are hearing Tony speak, he's not speaking from a projection. He's speaking from an experience, which is why everyone can relate. So that experience within him gives him so much more power and gives everybody the ability to resonate with him because he's owning it.
Or not resonate, right? Then there is no projection. Then there is It's a clear distinction. Like, I know you experience something that I don't. Where entanglement and using you, throwing you around, it kind of becomes blurry who experienced what in the end.
And instead of us projecting, we're reflecting from the inside out. So the reflection from within us, it's like there's this beautiful saying, your perception of me is a reflection of you. But the truth is that a person's decision on how they choose to operate or react or respond has actually nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
We all have free will. It's the meaning that we choose to give it.
And that's a decision. And you can get angry, you can get sad, you can get everything, but you make a decision how to react from that. And from an angry state, you react different than from a loving state. Because then state becomes very important.
I think when we choose, it becomes not reaction, it becomes a respond.
Yeah.
If there is a difference there.
I think the difference is it's a conscious choice. or is it the decision to react?
But often
Well,
that comes from everything you've been through in life, right? It's essentially the baggage, right? So that's why you said earlier, Ronald, you can make an active choice as to whether you let it impact your ego or you take it from a place of heart, right? And that's where the difference of, being in your heart as opposed to being in your head. If you're in your head, your ego is going to say, how dare they say this? How dare they have this reaction,
Exactly.
right? And then you
Exactly.
end up in that conflict. But if you go, whatever, you're in your belief system, I'm in my belief system, and let's leave it at that, right? Then you can react to it in a much more calmer way.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you. It takes a long time, and we go through all these traumas through our life, right? And then it adds baggage and layers of baggage, and if we don't work on it, you know, we can't get to that kind of state and continuously improve to continue through that journey. So it's a very important work. And then, very much coming to what someone was saying earlier, when you start to say you, right, it's that criticism, it's that, you talk about like, what is it, the three C's, right? We don't like comments, criticism, etc., right? And so
Coaching.
that comes across very, very a lot, right? In those kind of situations when you say you should have done this or you did that, rather than I would have done it slightly differently, or I would have thought, or in my hallucination, I would have thought
My
about doing it,
hallucination.
right? And then it just completely changes the whole energy and the whole
Yeah.
perspective on those points, right? And you come from a much better place to be able to tackle those issues or problems, right? So yeah.
Yep.
Well, it was really funny because I mean, I think yesterday or the day before, there was a lady in our Zoom room, and she was having some challenges with the way that she shows up when her relationship, and I offered my perspective, and the senior leader in that room was projecting her own limitations onto this lady. And I noticed that immediately. And so I offered, if they wanted to hear my opinion, I came in to provide some value, but being curious, not projecting. And so even when I was asking the question, the senior leader was like, "Are you saying this is?" No, I said, "No, I'm asking a question." So the lack of listening that's happening in that moment is actually it's super profound. And instead of allowing the experience to come through, she needed to make it about herself, and she chose to break down and stop the conversation and actually then project it, and then another person came in to offer that. So these are the moments where, from my perspective, I don't know if you were there, Hannah, if you were observing that whole situation when I was doing that, but
I might have been on a break or on
Yeah.
another meeting because we had to go in and out of other meetings, crew meetings and things like that. So I must have been on a crew meeting when that happened. But I was like,
But
where was I when this
it was
happened?
beautiful. It was so beautiful because like the
Oh,
lady
right.
was she was like, we were opening up her mind, and she was like, oh my goodness, this is a new perspective. And she's listening to another man, right? And she's wanting to emphasize the importance of her man. And in the middle of that, the senior leader basically shuts it down because she's not the one that's facilitating the change. Instead of observing and being curious, created her own map of the world and was like, okay, there's more people waiting. And then it was funny because the other people that had their hand up actually wanted to be part of the conversation. It's so fascinating, right? And so in these moments, I think it becomes where everyone is learning, instead of like how do you say, you put these different answers or these different questions or these different conversations in boxes, recognizing that it's all the same thing, that hey, this actually sparked a different idea or a different interest or a different question. It starts to create this way more harmonic environment, which is what I get so fascinated about when I observe the trainers and the senior leaders. Like, hey, what if we thought about it this way? What did you guys ever think of that? You know, and it gets so creative. And I know I trigger so many of them at these events because they're in their boxes, and I love it because I get to really show up to help them see that, you know, just because they have a trainer or senior leader shirt on, or crew or whatever, it doesn't mean they're any different from any one of us. We're all in this together, and we're here to support each other.
And it's clear that you triggered a point in that person's ego, and they clearly have some work still left to do.
We all do. I have tons.
No, of course, but I mean, it's like, you know, that's the thing is like, you know, I don't think it's ever a finished position. You know, I don't think you can ever get to the ultimate position of enlightenment or improvement. But I mean, you know, I would have expected someone in that kind of position, or, you know, on that kind of journey or that far ahead in the journey, to kind of be open to hearing and letting people debate and discuss. And everyone's views are completely different, right? And everyone has their own interpretations, their own visions and thoughts and ways of communicating those thoughts, right? And it's going to resonate with some people or different people. And, you know, you kind of need to leave that to kind of happen, so that then people can evolve and create their own interpretations and create their own paths, right? Rather than going, oh, hang on a minute, my ego is being a bit offended, I need to jump in here and stop this, you know.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how I took
Well,
that.
especially in a plot room, because this was a plot room, right? So, especially from my perspective, in a plot room where everyone is very highly, you know, doing the work. So this gives a different perspective. I think from my perspective, again, you know, a senior leader or a trainer needs to be extremely advanced to be operating and working with the plats, because they like, this lady was never even at an in-person event. You know, she was, you know, a couple times at online, but she's never been in person. So she's, you could see the coaching is coming from a very mind perspective. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that there's, you know, there's just opportunity for improvement. That's all.
Yeah, and I wasn't, you know, there, of course, but I think what really matters is if that participant that was going through this tough situation got value out of what you were saying, or whoever was saying. What matters is that they got value and a breakthrough out of it. That's really what matters. That's what we're here for, right? And in the plat room, like you said, to support each other as well. And we were told that we were all specifically handpicked for the plat room. So, but I wasn't there in the situation. But exactly that, right? If you're saying that she was getting value out of it, I think that's beautiful. You know, I think that's really what we want there. And like you said, in the plat room, it's very different from other rooms I crew, because you're on that journey. And so, yeah, you do have insight definitely to share. Been on several events, and you're, you know, further along in that, you know, in that journey. And so you have insight. But yeah, well, as long as she found the benefit, that's that's what matters, I think, right? That's should be the end result. It's not about, it's never about making it about us. It's not about us. When somebody's there and sharing their concern, it's our job is to support them in whatever way. And if somebody else is gonna provide, you know, good insight, then so be it, right?
But this is what I'm suggesting, though, is or at least what I observed in the experience, is that there was curiosity, there was a need to wanting to go deeper, and there was a moment of stopping.
Mm.
right? Versus allowing it to come through. So, which I imagine, as I reflect back on it, this happens also because we were talking about the specificity of masculine and feminine presence, the importance of, as a woman, you know, if her husband is out there doing a lot of things, what her needs are, you know, because she's extremely masculine, wanting to really allow the femininity within herself. And I said, hey, what do you think if you can actually like pay more attention to not what he's doing, but what you're doing, to approach the situation from a place of I instead of you, and really make the distinction of you know, in enhancing the experience. So maybe touching his head, maybe seeing how he's doing, you know, because he, from what I was hearing and what she explained, was really beautiful in that he does a lot of stuff around the house. So he probably, but she wants to have more of a sexual relationship. And these types of experiences, from my perspective, only, again, and this is from my experience, I only get connected if not if somebody's praising me or telling me what I need to do, but it's in the actions of what that woman does in terms of coming closer to me, being curious about me, asking what I'm about. You know, these are the things that make me feel more connected. So, anyways, I was offering this type of perspective, and the lady was fascinated because she's never heard it. And the other lady quickly shut it down instead of like, hey, do you guys want to maybe have a conversation on the side? Or like, it's like,
Right.
okay, sure, you know. But the point is that these things are important because that is the old patriarchal paradigm of masculinity, where thinking that there's only one person listening, you know, thinking that it's only about that one person and not recognizing actually the resonance of what is going on in the space. And by the way, the reason that I understand this is because I was also that person at one point in my life, you know, where I just like very cognitive. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Or what do you lady think? Lady and gentleman.
No, I think that's good. I mean, I think in a relationship, and goes back to a lot of, the ultimate relationship program and other ones and things like that. If we focus on ourselves or what we can do and what we can provide, how we can meet the other person's needs, then it's a lot more effective rather than you, or pointing the finger, right? You can't connect like that. So I definitely agree in that sense. I wonder, going back to the specific situation, if the senior leader was, maybe, I don't know what training they get as senior leaders, but if she was worried about the structure, if that but have the conversation on the side. If how long it went or whatnot. But yeah, I think that's really good perspective. I don't think there's anything inaccurate or negative in what you shared, especially that it sounds like the lady got really good insight out of it. And I think also it's going back to the love languages, and I have a meeting in 3 minutes I'll run to, but depending on, I think it's a conversation between the two of them as to how they want to be approached and what a person's love language is, if it is physical touch or if it isn't. And that's how you know how to approach a person, depending on how they like to be approached. This is where they need to get deep and vulnerable with each other and be able to communicate in order to get that need met, not just like try to indirectly get that done, right? You know, nobody's a mind reader. And I think it's important to have that conversation, and pointing fingers just doesn't work in any relationship, I think. That's my 2 cents.
I love the way Dr. Joe Dispenza is bringing this to the table about the relationship and harmonizing it. Is he's like, write down what you expect from another person, everything. Write everything down the way you expect, what you want, what your needs are, and then become it.
Yeah, focus on you. Like, what are you bringing to the table? Not just like, what are they doing? Are they not doing? Do they know them, right? Or like, what are you that person?
Yeah. And neediness, someone approaching from neediness or lack is super unattractive. It's like what Eric was saying. It's like it's super like not attracting. If someone is nagging about the lack, someone is kind of complaining all the time, like how can like it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, 100%.
Or if you feel that you have to be that nagging, complaining because you're not getting what you need, then you need to walk away.
Right. It depends. Yeah, I agree, Ross. It just depends on the situation. Like,
I'm talking from experience there, right? Because I got blamed for being
I
naggy
actually don't
one
think it
day,
depends.
and I was like, it was because I wasn't getting what I needed, and on reflection, I should have just walked rather than
Yeah,
keep on.
and I don't think it depends on the situation. I don't think nagging is ever appropriate.
Well,
I
I
think
wasn't nagging. I was just stating what I felt was lacking in our relationship, and it was perceived as nagging and complaining, and all I was getting in return was you did this and you haven't done this and you need to change this, and I'm like, but this isn't working, and we went through this like roller coaster for a year or year and a half, and I should have just gone after 6 months, fuck this, it ain't working, I'm out. Which
not what
but
you
I
say,
can
how
try.
you, that's that's why I think it's not it, because complaining is just a different way. It's like a communication, but it's ineffective communication. But if we communicate in a more effective way regarding our needs, then you have a better chance, I think, of having them met. That's my
Yeah.
2 cents. I gotta run,
But
so I want to just end with
I know you have
that.
to go, Hannah.
In
Hannah,
reflection, I was at
Anna, you
communicating
already dropped 4
because
cents. Too many.
Okay,
it's
we'll
good to see you.
Much
Bye
love. Have a
bye.
good.
in actual
Great
fact, I
energy.
was communicating in an effective way. It just was being taken as ineffective because the other person didn't want to accept my point of view.
Well, it sounds like the nagging came from the other person.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing that I find ironic is that quite often people who do the nagging and complaining and the manipulation quite often will blame the other person of doing the exact same traits of what they actually do and instigate often. So that's my kind of opinion, my kind of hallucination on the topic.
Well, I have to go too, guys. Nice discussion. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off as well. So much love, everyone.
Big love.
Okay.
Good to see you. Ciao.
Ciao.
So what made it feel like the nagging was a big challenge in the experience, or at least I think this is something that affects a lot of people, because it'd be nice to go deeper into this. What do you think, Ross?
The nagging, what the one I felt I was getting, or the one that she felt she was getting?
I don't know. I'm just kind of reflecting or seeing from your perspective.
I mean, it was like I don't know. She had her as an example, right? She had her own children, and who were 19 and 21, or 19 and 20, and it's like sure, they're great kids and it's great to have them around, but it'd be nice for us to have like, them having their own lives as well, and us being able to do something. Like we had at the time 3 houses, so it wasn't as if, they had to live in the same roof as us, right? And then it was like, yeah, but I can't remember. There's so many examples, it's hard to really describe. But it was like for every kind of request or need, not need, but request I had, it was always consistently shot down and always turned around to you, this. And it just became quite overloading and quite toxic, I suppose, really, in the reality of it. Yeah. Or for example, like, it probably didn't help as well that we worked together as well, but we, working, living together, and it was like, you yeah, I don't know. There's so I kind of really put it a bit in the past, so it's like a bit hard to go
I'm
back.
curious, what do you, looking back, I mean, at least for myself, because I'm just trying to put myself in the same situation.
I mean, ultimately,
what do you
it
think
felt like
you could have done better?
what I could have done better.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I have ADHD, so I take things very personally and I take rejection very to heart, and I think I kind of get very upset if, someone says, yeah, I don't know if I really want to do that today. So I think I could probably, I have, and I am improving on that a bit more. And maybe, some of those things kind of come across as needy, but I think the big thing as well was, I think I should have been more affirmative, and I should have been more tougher, if that makes sense, because a lot of the time I would be like, look, I'm not happy about this, or could we do this, or this, that, the other, and it's like, no, da, da, da. And I was like, okay, and I should have just gone, well, I'm gonna do it anyway, so I'm off, see you later, and being a bit more independent in that kind of way. Whereas I think I was maybe too much like a relationship has to be kind of mutual, balanced kind of thing. I think it does, but then I think also you need to be your individual self. So if the other person doesn't want to do it, you kind of need to still go back to, well, fuck it, I'm not going to miss that opportunity. I'm going to go and do it because it's good for me. Um, and I think the actually setting the boundaries definitely is something I should have done a lot better. Like I don't think I was clear enough with the boundaries, and I wasn't clear enough in the communication of what I expected and what I needed and what I wanted. Whereas I did respect and listen to the other side, but it was very one way. And I think that's one of the things that I need to I take on board for going forwards is, set the clear intentions, communicate the clear intentions, communicate the needs, listen to the other person's needs, and also the language, right? And the 5 laws of love, right? And the different types of love, right? And I need to, I loved what Sigget said just a minute ago. Joe Dispenza says, go and write everything that you want from the other party and go and do it and become that person, right? And I think that's what I'm probably going to do for my next relationship is, this is what I want, this is what I expect. And when I find it, and then I'm, ready to go into that relationship, possibly. Although I kind of feel like being an eligible bachelor for the rest of my life and enjoy my. I think we're all men here, so it's okay.
No, Gina's here with her with Jacob, but they're a couple. They're a really happy couple, but it's nice to have their presence here. But yeah, man, I think everything is just, it's a journey. And the fact that you're willing to ask yourselves these questions is beautiful, and the fact that you're willing to do better is also beautiful. So, the nagging of what I heard, it sounds like that's something that you were hearing, but you're also recognizing that you could do something better, which is really beautiful. And ultimately, that's, I think, what allows us to um, take even more responsibility of any situation or any experience, is if that projection is happening, what is it that I can do better? Even if it's a trigger or if it's something that might not be true, just getting to the depth of where it's coming from, and then choosing to create the meaning internally, at least from my perspective. That's my choice, and now I get to observe or take care or move forward into the next experience. Kind of like you just told me about the situation that I'm having with this contract, right? Hey, what can you do to actually now just go inside, because I wanted to respond and just like, ah! And it's like, okay, take it in, feel it, what needs to come out, use AI to kind of guide you. I sent you a copy already, like of the response that I think I need to do, to really come from that place where I don't need to be angry. I could be very strategic about the response. And also, as you see in the email, very peaceful about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I lost my words. It's about removing the emotion from it, because it's your head really, I think, that kind of causes the emotion, right? And that the chimp brain kicks in where it's like, "Ah, fuck you, you horrible, you do this to me," and if you kind of remove yourself and shut the brain off, then you kind of get the intuition, and it's like you kind of let it sit, and then it'll kind of, then all of a sudden you'll go, I should do this, or I should think about that, right? And then you can tackle it. And sometimes you just have to leave it for days or weeks, I find. But or if you want to get rid of the anger and write it and be like, fuck you, dude, you can't da, 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 and leave it in your draft and then don't send it. Although I have
Yeah, it's
actually
good.
once and pressed sent by accident.
But dude, I think the universe sent me that email right at the time that we were on the call at the same time and talking about finance for a reason,
Probably.
So it's amazing. It's amazing how the universe just tests us and then gives us exactly what we want and then gives us exactly what we don't want, and we get to choose in that moment, you know?
Yeah. Split second.
So it's a gift, man. It's a gift. Alex, you have anything you want to share about that? Thoughts?
Yes, if it comes to my last relationship, I was the one complaining and blaming at the end. And like I reflected on it, and it really came back to my state, like I wasn't able to regulate my state, and I didn't have anything with her. Like she was amazing. I was just like she was the vessel, just where everything just went into at the end. But if I would have just, I don't know, controlled my state, regulate my state, just prime myself, I wouldn't react like this. I wouldn't even be reacting, you know? So when it comes back to the email or like to euros, I think this is so important. Just, hey, how do I react if I'm a out of 10 energy? Pretty bad, right? Or 10
Yeah.
out of 10.
Yeah. But
I'm
yeah, go on, sorry.
no, you just I feel like you're more resourceful, you're more aware, and you're more conscious, and then you don't do this stuff. Like it's silly. But if you're in a state of love or gratitude or whatever, you're not complaining, you're not blaming, you're not, like typing angry, anything, like no, you have compassion, and you just see the blessing, or you just ask yourself, hey, where's the blessing right now? And if you could just train this a little bit more in, especially like in this situation where it's a lot of pressure, or we're just feeling attacked or triggered, whatever, I think here it's, yeah, the most important time to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. And you said that was perfect what you said there about like that when you're in your 4 out of 10 energy level, you're not going to react in the best way, you know. But then, what do you do if you're in that 4 out of 10 energy level and you're like, no, I really can't deal with this today. Can we just talk about it tomorrow? Can we sort it out tomorrow? And that person keeps on persisting because people do. What do you do then?
Good question.
Yeah. And I think then you kind of need to then start to equate, well, actually, maybe this person isn't for me, that isn't in my energy level. We're not compatible in the certain energies together, right? So, yeah.
Well, I think, wait, we're four men,
Wow,
right?
this is you guys just gave me so much. Yeah. This is really profound insight, and you helped me structure together a really amazing response with compassion.
Yeah.
Well, based on this conversation we were having, this lovely call, before I'm going off, I have to share my experiences and reflecting on my few relationships that I've had in the past. I can now say that my past self had the thing he did wrong was an inability to listen to the other and what their needs are. And what might have even been worse, not even knowing what my own needs are.
Very profound.
Yeah.
And now, knowing this, I can now see that moving forward, I can quite clearly know what my needs are, and also then listen and see what the needs are of the other, and truly have a wonderful bond and experience for the future. I didn't know I needed this, guys, but thanks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
You guys, this was a beautiful meeting. I think I learned so much just by listening to everyone. And I'm going to send you a revised version, Mr. Ross, and get your thoughts
Okay.
on it.
Sure.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Alex, so
Thank
good to see you.
Yeah.
Gina, Jacob, I know you're present, so we're sending you lots of love. Ross, it was a pleasure, brother. So nice to go through this depth with you guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Pleasure to see you guys.